I'm Reverend Jennifer Butler, and I'm the senior pastor and head of staff at the Congregational Church in Corvallis. And I'm here because I've had a remarkable partnership with Corvallis Housing First over the last almost year. In July of 2019, 23 folks living in the woods next door to our church property showed up on our property seeking safe shelter and having nowhere else to go. And as a congregation, we knew that we had a clear initial response to that. Well, Jesus sheltered the poor and the oppressed, so that's our job too. But we're not a congregation full of experts in the field of sheltering or social work. Through the grace of community and connections, I met Andrea and a bunch of other people who immediately stepped in and said, you don't know how to do this, that's okay. You have the space, the resources, and the volunteer capacity, and we have the knowledge and the skill set for supporting you and making this happen. So it's been an incredible journey, an incredible partnership. We have transitioned 10 people into permanent housing out of the camp that's been happening next door to us. We have micro shelters on our property now to get folks out of tent camping and into even a more safe location with a locking door, which is so important for the folks who are living outdoors. None of it would have been possible without the partnership of Corvallis Housing First. From case management resources that they've allocated to us, to just the wisdom from staff and Andrea and board members who have walked alongside us and helped us to figure out how to do this thing. We absolutely would not be successful without the partnership of CHF. I can't say enough how grateful I am for that organization and others in the community, but Andrea has been a vital part of helping us to figure out how we can leverage our resources, our space, our property to house the vulnerable folks in Corvallis who need shelter and are on their way to permanent housing. So part of the way that Corvallis Housing First has been such an effective partner for us is the redirection of their resources toward us in terms of case management. So we as a church aren't able to financially support a case manager to work with our guests of Safe Camp. But Corvallis Housing First has generously reallocated some of their funding that allows for their staff to come on site and work in a way with our residents that we simply don't have the capacity to do. I am so grateful that that choice has been made because it didn't have to be made. And it has been the catalyst for us for so much goodness and change. So I cannot urge you, I cannot ask you enough to consider donating to Corvallis Housing First so that they can continue to support places like us. We have a lot of passion and energy and will, but we don't have the resources and the skill sets that we need, and there's no way for us to get that unless an agency like Corvallis Housing First is willing to redirect and reallocate their resources to help us. And the only way that that continues to work in our community is if we take up the challenge to fund organizations like CHF. And so your donation is literally something that you can see in action impacting the lives of our community members, our own neighbors, are moving from unsheltered and unsafe space, sleeping outside in a tent where every night their person and their belongings are at risk, into stable housing. That is an incredible reality and a true gift to see how your engagement in the system simply through a financial donation makes an incredible difference. So when people ask me, what can I do? How can I support this work you're doing? I say, give money to the places that are helping us, because without them, we can't continue to do this good work. And we all have a sense of wanting to be a part of change. Not all of us are able to do all the things, but those of us who have the resources and the economic capacity can redirect our funds to places like CHF. And this is a great time to make a donation because the Collins Foundation has awarded CHF with a matching grant. So if we raise $15,000, which isn't a lot, right? We absolutely have the capacity to raise $15,000 in an hour if we put our minds and our pockets where our mouths are. CHF will be matched. The Collins Foundation will match that $15,000. And so ultimately, it's a $30,000 gift, a $30,000 donation and grant to this really important connecting organization in our community. I cannot think of a better way to engage in the system right now than using your money to speak for your values and what you believe can be true and ought to be true about our human connection and our ability to together make a better, safer, and more lovely world.
Give because you know that people are people no matter what we are doing in our lives or where we're at. Give because you want to see an 8-year-old little girl smile every morning because she's got her own bedroom, because she's got her own bathroom. Give so that that elderly lady down the street is able to open her door and not worry about sharing a room with 7 or 8 other people who don't appreciate the fact that she's slowly dying. And there's nothing that no one can do for her. And this is it. This is probably where she's going to pass on. And if it wasn't here, it would be out on the streets. And it would be somewhere where, who knows? Just give. Help out.